Koenigsegg CEO didn't just throw shade at Tesla, he obliterated them. Not with flashy tweets, marketing gimmicks, or fancy charts, but with a four-wheeled monster that's redefining what electric performance should be. No emotionless autopilot. No overweight battery pack that turns every corner into a gamble. And definitely no touchscreen pretending to replace the driver's seat. This wasn't software on wheels. It was raw, mechanical brilliance made for people who still remember what it feels like to drive. While Tesla focused on chasing range and quarterly earnings, Koenigsegg quietly built something that makes the upcoming Roadster look like a high school science project. And now the world's asking, did Tesla just get outclassed at its own game? Or worse, has Elon's empire finally been hit where it hurts most? It all started in a low-key panel during a high-security automotive conference somewhere in Europe. No press, no cameras. Just engineers, execs, and insiders talking shop over coffee and slides. The vibe was quiet and technical until someone casually brought up Tesla's rise and the future of performance EVs. Christian von Koenigsegg didn't play along. He didn't offer a polished compliment to Musk's accomplishments. He didn't even hide his skepticism. Instead, he chuckled, leaned back in his chair, and dropped 5 words that detonated across the auto industry like a live grenade. Tell Elon I said you. We build real cars, not appliances. That was the moment the Cold War turned hot. What followed wasn't a slow leak, it was an internet wildfire. Within hours, the quote exploded across Reddit, autoblogs, and industry group chats like an oil spill in a match factory. Journalists didn't need context. They had the quote, and the internet did the rest. Koenigsegg, a name typically reserved for whispered reverence among performance purists, was suddenly front and center, and not just in car mags. Mainstream outlets ran with it too. People who had never heard of the Jesko or Regera were now watching a Swedish hypercar legend land a clean punch on the loudest man in tech. What started as a quiet exchange became a digital roar, echoing through Twitter feeds and YouTube thumbnails. And yes, Elon Musk heard it. Musk, famously thin-skinned and quick to fire off tweets like they're bullets, didn't take it well. Insiders at Tesla said he lost it the moment he saw the quote. Screenshots of hastily posted tweets began surfacing almost immediately. One dismissed Koenigsegg's life's work as toys for oligarchs. Another mocked him as a niche builder of overpriced collector's items. Whether those posts were real or scrubbed by Tesla's PR cleanup crew, the message was unmistakable. Musk was furious. This wasn't just competition, it was personal. When Elon spirals, there's no containing the fallout. Emergency comms meetings at Tesla HQ kicked into overdrive. The PR team scrambled to draft statements, spin the narrative, and redirect attention to Tesla's upcoming Roadster reveal. But it was too late. The industry had already caught wind of the real story. Veteran insiders were calling it the shot heard round the hypercar world. Because this wasn't just about a single insult. It was about what that insult meant. For years, Koenigsegg had been the quiet craftsman in the shadows, breaking records with monastic precision while Tesla stole the spotlight with software updates and autopilot drama. Now, the quiet one had spoken, and the world listened. Because the fiercest rivalries aren't really about products. They're about belief systems. Tesla believes cars should be tech platforms. Koenigsegg believes cars should stir your soul. And in that one offhand remark, Christian stripped Tesla of its mystique. He didn't call their cars bad. He called them soulless. That's what hurt. He struck the heart of Tesla's identity. In an industry born from risk, speed, and emotion, he said Tesla had become sterile. The jab drew blood not because it was crude, but because it was true. For some. It was the kind of comment Musk had avoided hearing for years. That while Tesla's cars might be respected, they weren't loved. And if you think Christian said it just to go viral, you're missing the deeper story. He didn't leave that room and blast it out on social media. He didn't milk the moment for YouTube clout or post a clever Instagram reel. That line wasn't crafted for headlines. It was a moment of truth, years in the making. Decades of late nights in wind tunnels. of fine-tuning airflow by hand, of watching the industry trade feeling for firmware. It wasn't a PR move. It was a battle cry from someone who had finally had enough. And the aftermath? It wasn't chaos. It was quiet domination. While legacy brands clung to heritage and Tesla chased mass production, Christian Koenigsegg went to war with physics. Every car he released wasn't just a product. It was a manifesto. Blisteringly fast, shockingly light, stripped of anything that didn't serve performance. The Agera RS didn't just break records. It humiliated Bugatti and Ferrari. The Jesko rewrote the rules of internal combustion. The Regera ditched the transmission entirely because compromise doesn't belong in Christian's garage. These weren't cars. They were engineered statements. And Christian wasn't looking for applause. He was rewriting the rules while everyone else was copying trends. Koenigsegg doesn't follow the future. He builds it. Christian von Koenigsegg didn't just challenge the rules. He rewrote them. He pioneered camless engines that gave drivers precise control over every single valve. He was building hybrid electric hypercars long before the industry even figured out how to spell EV. His innovations weren't born in billion-dollar labs. They came from relentless trial and error, obsessive engineering, late nights, and a refusal to settle for good enough. He wasn't just assembling machines. He was burning the old rulebook and sketching new blueprints in its ashes. But Christian's fight wasn't just mechanical. It was philosophical. At one point, he even admired Elon Musk. He bought Tesla stock early, turned a profit, and respected the bold vision, the rebellious spirit, and the scale of what Musk was building. For a while, they were kindred disruptors. But admiration has a shelf life. As Tesla's performance became more about code than character, as the human touch disappeared and algorithms took over, Christian stepped back. Musk was mass-producing the future. Koenigsegg was handcrafting it. And as the world began to idolize acceleration stats over soul, Christian realized it wasn't admiration anymore. It was resistance. And when resistance comes from a mind like his, it doesn't shout, it slices. Christian once spoke about Elon with real respect. He saw someone challenging giants and reshaping an entire industry. Musk was flipping the table on fossil fuels and redefining what cars could be. But Christian never confused ambition with authenticity. He admired the mission, not the methods. As Tesla grew into a sanitized tech giant, packed with autopilot systems and bloated with range stats, Christian quietly sharpened his philosophy into a blade. What started as admiration slowly evolved into a calculated ideological rebellion. But he didn't declare war with Twitter threads or flashy press conferences. He used precision, subtle critiques in interviews, technical dissections of the industry's obsession with convenience and digital control. Without naming names, he deconstructed Tesla's entire design philosophy, piece by piece. He questioned the ever-increasing weight of EVs, the growing disconnect between driver and machine, the loss of that raw, mechanical heartbeat. Christian wasn't attacking Tesla's performance. He was exposing its emptiness. Beneath the technical commentary was a warning the industry didn't want to face. While everyone else chased 0 to 60 times and infotainment screens, Koenigsegg was doubling down on something far more primal. His cars weren't built to coddle you. They were built to electrify you, to challenge you. Christian refused to automate the thrill out of driving. He didn't care about comfort modes or digital fluff. He built machines that demanded attention, that snarled, that pulsed with life. They weren't perfect. They were powerful, textured, unfiltered. He chased emotion, even if it came with chaos. And that's why he wasn't just another competitor. He became a threat. Elon Musk never responded publicly to Christian. He kept quiet, letting Tesla's brand speak through sleek charts and carefully staged product reveals. But according to insiders, the tension was very real. Musk reportedly despised the whisper campaigns, the subtle Koenigsegg quotes that echoed louder than any billboard or press ad. Because Christian wasn't criticizing Tesla's tech. He was challenging its purpose. And for someone like Musk, someone obsessed with controlling the story, that kind of critique cuts deep. When a quiet engineer starts to rewrite your narrative, silence isn't control, it's collapse. This wasn't a PR stunt. This was a clash of ideologies. On one side, Tesla's clean, mass-produced, algorithmically optimized vision of the future. On the other, Koenigsegg's brutal analog rebellion. Hand-built, emotionally engineered, and unapologetically raw. It was data versus driver, code versus combustion. And while the world watched Tesla dominate the headlines, Christian was quietly drawing a new line in the sand, one that made every EV executive uneasy. Because this battle was never really about speed. It was about something deeper. Who gets to decide what a car really is? In 2020, Koenigsegg dropped a bomb on the automotive world. It wasn't subtle. It was the Jesko absolute sibling, the JRA, a 4-seat hypercar so outrageous it forced engineers around the world to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about performance. This wasn't a showpiece built to sell a few luxury units. It was a real, road-legal monster, delivering over 1,700 horsepower from a tiny 3-cylinder engine paired with electric motors, and it didn't even have a traditional transmission. It tore apart the notion that more power requires more weight or complexity. Koenigsegg didn't just raise the bar, he obliterated it. Then he lit the fire even higher. In 2021, Christian announced a fully electric version of the JRA. No internal combustion engine, just raw electric fury, his direct challenge to Tesla's home turf. But unlike Tesla's lineup, this EV wasn't about comfort or software tricks. There was no autopilot, no gimmicks. The electric JRA wasn't built to soothe, it was built to terrify. It delivered torque so instantly and so brutally, it felt like being punched in the chest. Every decision in its design screamed thrill over convenience, experience over ease. Where Tesla stripped away feeling, Koenigsegg injected it into every cell of the battery pack. And when this hyper EV hit the headlines, Tesla's long-held image of dominance began to crack. Industry voices didn't hold back. Analysts who once praised Tesla's innovation started asking uncomfortable questions. One line in particular echoed through boardrooms. Tesla builds software. Koenigsegg builds spaceships. For years, Tesla had owned the electric spotlight, riding media momentum and market share. But out of a quiet airfield in Ängelholm, Sweden, a small team led by a quiet genius had built something that didn't just compete with Tesla, it embarrassed it. And suddenly, the long-hyped Roadster 2.0? It didn't look like the future anymore. It looked like a promise, stuck in a slideshow. And through all the noise, hype, and rising praise for Koenigsegg, Tesla said, nothing. And that silence? It spoke louder than any tweet. Elon Musk, who never misses a chance to throw in a meme, a jab, or a sarcastic quip, went completely quiet. No tweet. No playful response. Not even a backhanded compliment. That silence turned deafening when Christian's now infamous appliance remark leaked. It sent shockwaves through the industry and triggered a firestorm of backlash, media spin, and eventually retaliation. But let's be clear, Elon's silence wasn't part of some master plan. It was a stunned pause. Tesla had spent over a decade claiming it was the future. Koenigsegg had just gone out and built it. And yes, it even had cup holders. But the quiet didn't last long. Christian's off-the-record insult broke the internet, and it broke Elon's composure. When the quote finally hit headlines, "Tell Elon I said F for you. We build real cars, not appliances." Tesla's internal alert system lit up like warning lights in a crashing prototype. Elon, never one to hide his feelings, erupted. Deleted tweets started surfacing. Screenshots showed Musk lashing out, calling Koenigsegg a small-time Swede making toys for oligarchs. The media didn't waste a second. Headlines screamed, "Elon Musk melts down over Koenigsegg feud." Tesla's PR team scrambled into damage control. But the damage had already landed. Elon's carefully curated image, the genius innovator with nerves of steel, had taken a hit. And this time, it wasn't from GM or Ford. It was from a quiet engineer in Sweden hand-building hypercars that looked like they belong in a science fiction movie. And while Tesla scrambled to save face, Christian said absolutely nothing. And that silence? It was louder than any insult. He didn't walk it back. He didn't explain or apologize. He just stayed calm and focused. It wasn't a retreat, it was a presence. A silence that loomed. Elon's supporters came to his defense, calling Koenigsegg elitist and out of touch, accusing him of mocking innovation and accessibility. But Christian wasn't attacking the tech. He was challenging the ideology behind it, the idea that a car should be efficient above all else, even if it loses its character. Tesla's stock took a small dip, just enough to cause some uneasy conversations behind closed doors. Suddenly, Elon's bravado wasn't inspiring confidence. Christian's silent defiance was. And the world watched as engineers, influencers, and automakers began picking sides, publicly and loudly. From Medina to Croatia, insiders at Ferrari, Rimac, and Pagani made subtle but clear nods of respect toward Koenigsegg. One insider said, "He's keeping the soul of driving alive." And that quote spread fast. Auto influencers jumped in. Doug DeMuro made jokes about the endless Roadster delays. James May called Koenigsegg's creations violent brilliance. Auto Week, Car and Driver, and Top Gear ran long features comparing Christian's analog madness to Elon's digital precision. And across the internet, the debate caught fire. Is the future supposed to feel something, or just function? As the arguments swirled, the public wasn't just watching. They were taking sides, creating memes, signing petitions, and pushing for a showdown. One petition went viral almost overnight. A Koenigsegg versus Tesla drag race. On camera. Winner takes the future. Over 150,000 signatures poured in. And suddenly, this wasn't just about electric cars anymore. It was about authenticity. Christian represented the craftsman, the obsessed engineer chasing perfection with fire in his eyes. Elon represented the disruptor, the industrialist sprinting into the future without looking back. And in the court of public opinion, this wasn't a battle of specs. It was about belief. It was about which future feels real. Without even trying, Christian flipped the entire auto world on its head. That single quote didn't just go viral. It carved a deep crack in Tesla's image. It was a moment they couldn't erase. Behind the scenes, Tesla's legal team reportedly began looking for ways to contain the fallout. There were even talks of legal threats against journalists who published Elon's deleted tweets. But the screenshots were already global. And now, Tesla looked like it was trying to rewrite history. Internally, Tesla staff were told not to mention Koenigsegg's name in official communications, a move that didn't silence the chatter. It confirmed the panic. The company built on disruption suddenly looked like it was trying to protect its pride. While Tesla buried itself in strategy, Koenigsegg just kept building. Christian declined every interview, ignored podcast invites, refused to comment. While the media begged for a follow-up, all he shared were silent teaser shots of the next-gen Jesko. No captions, no hashtags, just carbon-wrapped menace and mechanical poetry. While Tesla leaned on PR spin and non-disclosure agreements, Koenigsegg focused on airflow and traction control. His silence wasn't passive, it was surgical, and it was working. Then came new whispers. Industry insiders leaked rumors that Tesla was trying to poach engineers from Koenigsegg's workshop, specifically those working on battery integration and hybrid balancing. This wasn't normal recruiting. It looked like desperation. With the Roadster 2.0 still stuck in limbo, Tesla was reaching for the one thing Christian valued most: pure human innovation. At the same time, Swedish media began reporting a curious trend: a surge in government grants heading to Koenigsegg. It sparked rumors that European powers were quietly backing the underdog in what looked more and more like a tech war. All this sparked by one offhand comment. Christian's line didn't just bruise Elon's ego, it revealed Tesla's biggest vulnerability. For all its factories, for all its reach and sleek software, Tesla couldn't control how people feel. And Koenigsegg had just captured the hearts of purists, racers, engineers, and dreamers. The man who once said he'd never go mainstream might now define the next chapter of the automotive world. And this isn't the finale. It's just the prologue to a larger, bolder, bloodier war of ideas. Because when legacy and ego collide, only one drives away with the keys to the future.